Let me open with the question that's splitting classrooms, school boards, and entire communities in half. Should To Kill a Mockingbird still be required reading in 2025? Or is it finally time to let it go? This is not a simple question. And the louder people argue, the clearer it becomes that they're not really fighting about a book. They're fighting about memory, about identity, about who gets to shape the moral imagination of the next generation. For decades, To Kill a Mockingbird sat on syllabi like a sacred artifact. The empathy book, the justice book, the every child must read this before adulthood book. Teachers praised it for its humanism. Parents trusted it to teach their kids about right and wrong. And students met Scout and Atticus as if meeting the essential American family. But something has shifted. And that shift is forcing us to look at the novel with new eyes. Not nostalgic, not sentimental, but honest. The first critique comes from place and perspective. The story is told through a white child about a black man's suffering, guided by a white moral hero, in a world built by white adults. The emotional center is Atticus's disappointment, not Tom Robinson's life. And for many modern readers, especially black students, that imbalance feels impossible to ignore. It's not that the book is malicious, it's simply limited. A story about racism that rarely gives voice to the people most affected by it. A story about injustice that focuses its heartache on the lawyer rather than the victim. A story that comforts readers who see themselves in Scout and Atticus and frustrates those who don't. Then there's the question of tone. Harper Lee writes with gentle nostalgia, wrapping Maycomb's ugliness in sunlight and childhood wonder. This contrast is beautiful, yes, but it can also soften the impact of the violence beneath it. For some students, the book feels like a slow walk through ethical museum exhibits. For others, it feels like watching a tragedy from too far away. So critics ask, is this still the right book to introduce young readers to systemic racism? Or does it frame the topic in ways that no longer match the urgency of the present? On the other side, defenders of the novel make powerful points too. They argue that To Kill a Mockingbird is an accessible doorway, a bridge book, a starting point for students who have never encountered injustice in literature before. Scout's innocence becomes a safe entry for readers processing unfairness for the first time. Atticus's moral clarity gives young minds a figure to admire before they're ready to confront harsher realities. Defenders say that removing the book is not progress, it's erasure. That students should learn how literature reflects its time. That teaching this novel critically is better than replacing it entirely. That reading Scout story is still powerful, if taught alongside other voices that deepen and challenge it. And here's the truth. Both sides are right. Both sides want students to understand justice. Both sides want better classrooms. The disagreement lies in what better looks like, comfort or confrontation, familiarity or complexity. So should the book stay? Maybe the real answer isn't yes or no. Maybe the real answer is how. How we frame it, how we teach it, how we pair it with other texts that fill the perspectives it lacks, how we let students question it rather than defend it, how we allow the conversation to grow past the limits of Maycomb. Because To Kill a Mockingbird isn't timeless. It's a product of its era, but it is also a lens, one that still reveals something essential, not about race alone, but about innocence, power, fear, and the stories a nation tells itself. Whether it stays on a syllabus or leaves it should depend on whether teachers and students can use it not as a moral conclusion, but as a moral beginning. If you want the full cultural breakdown, including the history of book bans, modern scholarship, curriculum wars, alternative texts, and how this debate reflects the fractures in our society, the complete video essay is waiting for you, along with a downloadable PDF companion filled with deeper analysis, sources, and classroom perspectives. I hope you join me there.